Alright, here's a climate change video, sort of. I am gearing up for climate change. I was a pre-commercial thinner for 20 years. 20 years as a professional, and now I'm out of it because the body cannot take it anymore. And I'm about to retire soon anyways. So this is my own property right here, and as you can see, it needs to be thinned, and you don't see much softwood here because I took it out. Now in the professional business, they want softwood, especially spruce. It's a building, it's construction material, it's the money tree. Spruce, spruce, spruce. Thin for spruce. Spruce, spruce, spruce. Used to be fir too, but when the paper, they stopped making so many, newspapers and whatnot, that the mills collapsed and whatnot. But they're coming back because of climate change. That's right, you heard me. Because they're using more paper bags instead of plastic, which is a good thing, right? And stuff like that. Yeah. Cartons. Bring back the cartons instead of the plastic jugs. Remember the milk cartons? They were perfect. And then they decided to put those little plastic tops on them. What's up with that? Why would they ever start that? And they didn't start it that long ago either. Like, what's up with that? Anyways, go back to the just pure cartons, you turkeys. Anyways, so now I thin for myself. And I'm not a climate change alarmist or anything like that, right? I guess I'm a realist. I want to see truthful data and go by the truth, the true science, not the phony stuff. And climate change is real, but it's going a lot slower than the alarmists would have you believe. I will give you an example. I know a fella, I worked with him for quite a few years. He's an old guy, older than me. For the last couple of years, he has announced that our lakes here in Nova Scotia will no longer freeze over in his lifetime. So I asked him, I said, well, how old are you? He said he was 64. So then I asked him, well, how long do you plan on living? Anyway, that same thing, he over the next couple of years, he said the same thing, that the lakes are not going to freeze up in the wintertime in his lifetime. So let's say it makes it to 100, So 35 years. He's probably 66 by now. So let's give him 101. No, so in 35 years, the lakes ain't gonna freeze over anymore. Well, I gotta tell you, I don't think it's going that fast. Anyways, let's get back to the trees. The trees ahead. Now, see, what I want to do is I'm not going spruce, 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 and softwood and fir and all that crap. I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going with hardwood, pure hardwood stands. That's what I'm going to do. And why am I doing that? Firewood. That's right, firewood. It's not a fossil fuel. It's just a fuel, because I really don't trust the government. I don't see the carbon tax working. I don't understand the carbon tax. I only know that it's a way for the government to get taxes, and that's all it is. And in my mind, that's what I see. So, anyways, let's get back to the woodlot. I got to get off the climate alarmist thing, because some of that drives me crazy. Just the stuff that they believe, like oceans boiling and all that foolishness. Okay, so I have chosen mostly red maple here. And for those of you who do not know trees and believe that red maples have red maple leaves, that's not red maple, okay? That's the Crimson Kings or whatever those hybrids are or whatever. The true red maple has green leaves, but the leaves turn red in the fall, and there's shoots. If you see the shoots are red. You know, see all the nice red shoots? That's why they were called red maple in the beginning, I guess. So they never, yeah. So I chose red maple because firewood, number one. Also, it's a strong tree. And I've worked on lots where spruce and hemlock, they all blow over because of the storms, right? So this is what I'm doing for climate change, is I'm selecting stronger species in the woods to combat those storms. I worked on the property, John Risley. Some of you probably heard of him. Worked on his property for 6 years, and he lives along the coast. And I've seen his trees just blow right over, because when we get a mild winter or a mild spell, what happens is the spruce has shallow roots, right? Right. So then the ground softens right up because of the mild wave comes along and takes the frost out of the ground for a little bit, and it gets all right soft. Plus the combination of the strong winds and blows them right over, right? So he had to, we had to plant more stronger trees down there, more hardwoods and whatnot. And so you can still have your softwood, but you need a mix, because that way your spruce roots have something to cling to, like the deeper roots of the hardwoods nearby. All right, anyways. So, yeah, up here on this hill I chose red maple. And oak, if it's around, I'll leave the oak. And see some birch there. Eventually I'll cut the birch out. That'll be like firewood. More recent firewood. And then eventually, we'll go up the hill here. I'll show you after I'm done, what it's supposed to look like. Well, I got a couple ponderosa pines growing here. These are species I brought in. They're a stronger pine. And they grow just as big as the white pine. They're just more or less an experiment. Seem to be doing okay. Okay, here's the small section where I thinned out a little bit, and I left the ponderosa pine, but see how the spacing for the red pine is going to be like this, and it's not going to take them very long to get this thick after you thin them out, right? So I've done a little bit of thinning there. Save that birch, but eventually I'll take the birch for firewood before I take all the maple. Eventually, it's going to be mostly just maple. As you can see, pine in the distance there. That'll come down. And this used to be like a lot of softwood, and now look at it. Just look at the hardwoods coming. Awesome. And it didn't take that long. So I'll just thin them out. So that gives them room to grow, like in this area. And strong. They're not going to blow over. And in the wintertime, they lose their leaves anyway. So, yeah, I don't have to worry about them in the wintertime blowing over and storm damage. Or, yeah, storms from climate change. Or what have you. And I'm growing it for firewood for myself. I'm not growing stuff for the government. For the spruce or for the lumber or whatever they want to tax and go on, and yeah. So this is what I'm doing, my own wood lot for firewood, and I'm not doing spruce. Unless I decide that I want some building materials and make it myself, the building materials. So mostly it's going to be for heat, wood heat, because I'm going back in time. I'm going to use wood heat. I'm not burning fossil fuels, and I'm not going full electric like the government wants me to do and just rely on them. I'm not doing that. I'm burning wood, right? That's what we're doing. We got to go back to the land and work the land. Well, I better get started. And that's it for climate change.